Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this short podcast and AMA session. So I'm Joshua. I'm the DevRel at Aviyel. So I'm the host for your session today, and today's conversation will be around Web3, and this is our first conversation on our platform, which is on Web3, and we have Uttam as our guest, and also we have a co-host Utkarsh who will be introducing about what we are trying to do exactly and what Aviyel is. And over to you, Utkarsh.
So hey, thanks again for joining, guys. I am Utkarsh. I am a developer evangelist at Aviyel. So a very quick intro about Aviyel and what exactly are we doing at Aviyel. So Aviyel's on a mission to create scalable monetization avenue for projects. And at the same time, we are aiming to do whatever that we do while preserving that project's open source character. That is very important to us. And we're trying to introduce the concepts of DAOs and tokenization to drive the project's incentivization. To sum it all up, at its very core, we are helping open source projects scale and make them sustainable.
Awesome. Thanks for that introduction, Utkarsh. So let's dive into the session, and we have an amazing guest with us today, Uttam, who is currently a developer advocate at Polygon. Previously, he worked as engineering and product intern there, and now he is a developer advocate, and he's also upcoming MITAX Global Summer Research Intern at Montreal, Canada. So thanks for taking your time, Uttam, and it's great to have you in our platform. And it would be great if you can share about yourself. I might have missed a lot, but you can share about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, first of all, thank you, Joshua and Utkarsh, for inviting me and for this session. It's going to be amazing. So, short introduction about myself is right now I'm working as a developer relations intern at Polygon, Matic Network, and also before that I was working as a blockchain engineer intern over there. Other than that, I'm also going to Canada this summer for my summer internship. So hopefully, if COVID doesn't, ruin it, I will be in Canada for summer 2022, doing my research on blockchain security. Other than that, I've been involved with a lot of communities like Postman and Web3 communities and Binance and BuildSpace, and all these communities are amazing. So I love to be a part of these communities. I love to talk to people, interact with them, especially talk about blockchain and Web3 and how I can help them and how they can get started. So this is what I do, and I love to be part of communities. So
Awesome. So this is our series called Unlocking Web3 101. So pretty much an overview of how Web3 is working. So this is a question that we ask almost all developers who come on our podcast, and the answer always turn out to be unique. So the first thing I want to ask is, like, what was your first Hello World? Like, how did you get into the world of tech or programming in general, or anything which helps you to grow in this space as a student? Or was there any person or inspiration behind it? Can you talk more about it?
Okay, so the story is like really normal and a simple story, like just like a student. So I passed out from 12th class, and I was not taking my subject was not computer science. So, but still, as a normal person, I took my engineering in the computer science, and thereafter, when I introduced to the college, I went to the college, and there only I got to started to the computer science. But usually in Indian colleges they don't teach programming in their first semester. So I started to learn from the other coaching centers and all those things. I was like, dude, I want to learn. So I started to learn more about it. So then I just learned C++. So, and then only I created the Hello World, and I started to learn how these things work, what are the languages, how we can communicate with the computer. So that is normal, very simple story. But other than that, on my inspiration side, I have my brother who is also a software engineer who is in USA. So he's working as a software engineer. So he's one of my inspiration to get into Web3 as well, on the blockchain side as well, and also to get started with programming, and he helps me whenever I am stuck. So this is a small story and how I get started with the first Hello World program.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I mean, that is why it was even mentioned in the talk flow that the answer somehow even though we have interacted with a lot of folks, the answer somehow always turns out to be very unique. So yeah, thanks for sharing. So let's dive into one of the more core sessions as to why this podcast was even hosted. So let's start with your journey into Web3, right? So just tell us about your journey into Web3 and how was that transition from Web2 like for you?
So till now, like, till my first year, first and second year, I was more exploring towards the Web2 sites. Like, as a normal student, I started to learn more about the web development, I know HTML, CSS, and then a normal framework that we choose, right? So I was creating normal web apps, right? But then I got to know about crypto, right? So crypto was at that time was something, people were talking about that it is something that is very unique or something like that. So I got it to, I wanted to know more, because what happens in India, people think in India, especially in India, that crypto is like, a thing where you invest your money and it becomes 10x, or it is a gambling, right? But it is more than that, right? So I wanted to explore it. So then I started to learn more about crypto. What is it? How it works? So then there is a technology behind crypto. It is blockchain, right? So I wanted to learn more about blockchain. So that curiosity, that was the thing that minded me, right? So I learned more about blockchain, how it works, how the blocks are mined, how blockchain works, right? So after that, I worked on more towards blockchain, and there are various concepts in blockchain. So on the blockchain side, when I started to learn more about it, and then when I learned the theory, I was like, I need to do something on it. Like, it is very interesting. It is the future, I guess, right? So I started to learn more, languages that we use. So there are two different things, right? One is working on the blockchain, that is blockchain engineering, like working on the core blockchain, and the other thing is working, building on blockchain, right? So these are two different things. Like, you are building the core architecture and you are building some apps on that particular framework, right? The core framework, right? So these are two different things, right? So when I started to more into it, so I started more like languages like Solidity and everything. We will talk more about this in future, like what is Solidity and everything. But still, I started to learn more about Solidity, and then I made some dApps, right? So there is a difference between apps and dApps. So what are dApps, right? So in Web2, we create apps. Apps are normal applications, but in application, what is happening is that there is a single central authority where all your data goes and all they are controlling, right? So for example, now there is an app called Facebook, right? So there is a CEO of Facebook that is, that he or she is taking the decision, right? So what is going to be happen next on Facebook? So there is a single person, central entity that is going to take the decision. But this is not going to happen in the Web3 world. It's all about decentralization, right? So there is going to be dApps. dApps are decentralized apps, and so there is no central authority and everything controlling your data, right? So then I started to learn more about dApps, and I created some few dApps. And then as usual, I wanted to work on this, like working in at a company. So I started to more about doing internship, finding opportunities, right? So I got a normal internship at Blockchain Council. I was working on Polygon only, like I was creating a course on Polygon. Then only I got introduced to Polygon, right? So after that, when I was creating that course, I thought, why not apply to the particular company? If I'm creating a course on it, obviously I have done research. So yeah, I reached out to Polygon, and there was also an opening for internship. So after that, I reached out to the HR, and there was opening. I got my interview, and it got cleared. And then after that, my life changed. And and also, when you work at a good company, it's not just about high pay, right? People usually look into high pay, but it's about the people, the like-minded people. They are the experts of that particular field, right? So you're working with them, so you learn a lot, right? So this is how my my Web3 actual journey of my Web3 started, right? So then I worked on the architecture of Polygon, like what is Polygon, how we can build out architectures. I was working more towards the blockchain engineer part, and then I also explored some of the product management side as well, how it works. So I wanted to very clear where I wanted to go. So I started to explore things. So yeah, after that, after I completed my 6-month internship of engineer and product intern, I asked them to, I wanted to also explore the DevRel side of the thing. So, reached out to the manager, and there was an opening as well. So now I'm with the developer relations team at Polygon. So yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think everyone has their own story, and thanks for sharing that. It makes a lot of sense for anyone who wants to understand how things work. So, as you mentioned, a few communities like uh, I've seen you work
Mm-hmm.
with Binance community in the initial days, and also you mentioned about blockchain council or something. So, uh, like, what are these few communities that help you transition better, or after being in this
Mm-hmm.
space for a while, do you think there are some new communities that are emerging or doing some amazing work to help folks to transition just like you?
Okay. So, like right now, when I was learning, like 2 years ago, there were no communities, and people were not talking about Web3 and blockchain. So at that time, there were no communities. There was a simple course just on the internet. So there were no few, major communities that I was part of at that time. But right now, people are, learning about it. People are now interested about Web3. They want to learn about blockchain. They want to learn about, decentralized world, right? So as of now, there are, many communities. Like Build Space is a community that is, helping people to, get started with Web3, and also helping Web2 developer to get transition into Web3. Other than that, there are many DAOs as well. That DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So as I said, that there is no central authority in Web3 world. There is a DAO. DAO is decentralized autonomous organization, and these are token holders of a particular company, right? So there are many DAOs, right? So one of the DAO is Learn Web3 DAO, that is also happening, helping people to get started with Web3, and to help Web2 developer transition into Web3, right? So these are few communities that I think are good, and you can also join. Other than that, Polygon is building a good community. So if you want to build on Polygon, just join our Discord server, join the Telegram group. So there are like-minded people, and this is the few things about Web3 community, that it is very welcoming. Like you will not find this welcoming sometimes in Web2, but yeah, in Web3, since it is new as well, and I hope so that it will remain same in the future. But yeah, Web3 community is very welcoming, and there are a lot of DAOs and communities that you can join. One of the DAO I missed is Developer DAO. You can join that as well. But yeah, Developer DAO is mostly like, you have to buy that particular NFT to be into their DAO. But other than that, so the free communities are the Build Space, and all these communities.
Yeah, you covered almost everything, but then those were the ones that are great for new folks to get started. So what are the few resources now that you have already been into the Web3 ecosystem for a while? So what are the few resources that are your go-to to stay relevant in this field?
Okay. So few resources I think is that, first of all, you need to learn about blockchain. So for that, read blogs.
Yeah.
There are various blogs out there on Medium, and you can Google them. And right now there are various blogs. So the content is increasing day by day. People are getting to learn, and then people are sharing it as well, right? So the content is a lot nowadays. But yeah, if you want to learn like Solidity, right? So there is a game called Crypto Zombie. So you can, play that game, and then you can learn Solidity as well over there, right? So Solidity is a language that is used to create smart contracts, and to build on blockchain, to build apps, right? So you can go to Crypto Zombie, you can learn Solidity. Other than that, I told like Build Space. Build Space is a great platform where you can go and you can build projects. They help you to build those projects, how you can understand that project, and there is a Discord server as well. They help you there as well. Other than that, I told about Learn Web3 DAO as well. There is a that is great. Other than that, there's a Polygon Academy that you can be a part of, right? And there are other fellowship programs as well. So there is a kernels fellowship program that people can apply to. Other than that, there is I told like use web3.xyz is also a website where you can go and you can find those resources as well. Also Questbook is a great app where you can go to Questbook and learn more about Web3 and create apps as well. Other than that, yeah, these are few communities, but now it's the Web3 world is so active that every day there is a new community. Every day there is a new DAO. Every day there is a new dApp. So it's ever growing. So maybe there will be few communities who are going to do better than these existing communities. But as of now, no, the world is changing, so you also need to be updated. So be active on Twitter, and you will find those communities over there.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And also, like, there are a lot of attendees over here. Thanks for tuning in, and you can drop your Q&As in the Q&A section over there in the right side. So we'll be answering that in between or in the end of the session. So yeah, Uttam, coming back to this topic, like, of course, there are a lot of communities that are evolving. So we don't know, definitely we don't know what is the best. So everyone has their own idea behind the Web3 and own use case. So I've seen a lot of people asking in the community, like, hey, this is not the right way, this is Web3 and this is not good. So there are a lot of things which are on and off in the Web3 space, which is expected, because anything which comes new, there's a lot of criticism, or there are lot of misconception in general. So would you share some insights on how to break these myths to understand Web3 better? Or what is a simple way to understand Web3 for a beginner, to not focus on all those things which are happening around?
Okay. So let me now take you to the history of all this Web3 world and how it started, right? And then I will more talk about Web1, Web2, and Web3. So the concept of blockchain came in 1970. So there were two persons who created the blockchain, the concept of blockchain, the word blockchain, and there was something about it. But at that time, there was no creation. But what happened, later on, there was a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. He created a Bitcoin, right? And we, as of now, also we don't know who this guy is. We just know his name because his name was written in that white paper, right? White paper of Bitcoin. So he created, a Bitcoin. So it was a cryptocurrency, right? A currency which is not controlled by a central authority. So right now, all of our finance is controlled by banks, right? It is called centralized finance. But cryptocurrency was a thing that was not controlled. That is a decentralized, you can say decentralized finance or decentralized currency, right? So this was the case, and people, started to learn about Bitcoin. There is a new Bitcoin. People started to learn about this concept, right? So this was about the Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not programmable. So this is the thing. Then what happened? In 2015, I guess, I exactly don't remember the date, but yeah, there was a concept of Ethereum. Ethereum came into existence. So Ethereum take up, a major step in this, blockchain world. So now they created a programmable blockchain. So on the Bitcoin blockchain, you just, you can't store apps or anything. You just you can just store your transaction. Like, for example, Joshua gave Uttam 100 rupees. So that thing can be stored on the Bitcoin blockchain. Other than that, there is not other thing that you can store. But on Ethereum, like, since it is a programmable blockchain, you can create your code, you can, write your code, and you can submit that code into the blockchain, right? So this is how the starting of Web3 world came, right? So as you know, like, blockchain is decentralized, right? So now we have our code that is also decentralized, right? So now, coming on to the Web1 part, but yeah, before that, I also wanted to, know, but why blockchain? What is this thing? So right now, if I ask you who you are, right? So you will say, I'm Joshua. But then I ask you, like, what is the proof? So you will tell me that I can show you my Aadhaar card or any of the identity that is issued by the government or by your college or by your organization where you work. You will show me that, right? But what if I told you I don't accept that? Then you don't have any proof that you are Joshua, right? So blockchain is providing that true ownership, like, your identity will be on blockchain and anybody can see it, right? So it's providing you true ownership of your identity and also your money, right? So crypto is providing true ownership of your money, right? So now coming on to the Web3 world, right? So why it is called Web3, right? So in Web1, what happened? Web1 was a simple read-only web. So in 1990s, when the internet came, people were not having access to it. There were no mobile phones. Only few people were controlling it, and it was read-only web, where you go to the web, you just read information. That's it, right? But then JavaScript came into existence, and all of these came into existence, like video streaming platforms as well, tools as well. So after that, the internet was having the capability of reading and writing. So now you can we are sitting and we are communicating. This is all because of these Web2 things that came into existence, and all those things, like we use Facebook, Instagram, and all those things came into existence, like social media channels and blogs and everything. So people could interact wherever they are sitting, like in the next country as well. So they can interact in few seconds, right? So this is all about Web2, right? Now what happened? What was wrong in Web2? Why do we need Web3, right? So, what happened, like to give you a better user experience, these companies, these few central entities, and right now we all know that the web is controlled by a few companies, like 4 to 5 companies. We all know are controlling the internet, right? So if they want, they can do anything with the internet. They want to block it, they will block it. They want to take the website down. They want your thing go down. They can do it, right? So they're controlling the internet. So this was the actual wrong, right? They were controlling the internet. They were using your data, and there was no privacy, right? They were tracking your location. They were selling it, right? So right now, when we Google anything, the next moment the ad shows up. You are talking to your friend, hey, I want to buy a mobile. The next moment Amazon will show you the ad, right? So this is violating the privacy of the users, right? So we don't want that, and anybody who's living, he don't want their privacy to go, right? Everyone wants their privacy, right? So that's why these companies are controlling the internet, and everything, bad things are happening. But Web3 is providing decentralization. So Web3 is read, write plus own web, where you will be owning the internet. So now every one of us will hold a piece of internet, right? And isn't it amazing? Like, free companies are not controlling. You are also the holder of the internet, right? So this is now why we need Web3, and this is read, write, and own, providing decentralized world, more secure web, and providing you true ownership of your identity, your data, your privacy as well.
Yeah. Thanks for breaking down that thing. It was very well explained in a short span of time. I think that really helps the community. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So now that decentralization is in the play in our podcast, so assuming that there are users out there who have joined the session, not users, but then audiences who have joined the session. So can you just explain in a very quick, just maybe one-liner about what decentralization actually is, and then how it helps in building sustainable communities? Now, I understand sustainable communities is a very long term, but then what are the core ethos of decentralization that basically is helping building great communities in the Web3 world?
Okay. So the simple thing about decentralization is, right now, as I told, that everything is controlled either by our government, either by these authorities or these organizations, right? So suppose, like, there is a company, and if you want to do anything, change in the code base of a particular app or particular organization, there is a central person, there is a single person, the CEO of the company. He will take the decision. He will take the final decision. So this is centralization, right? So everything is connected to a central server. Everything is connected to a single person, right? And also about the crypto, coming on to the crypto part, that there is our banks, right? So there is a RBI of, suppose India, there is a RBI. He's controlling the finance. They are controlling the finance. All your money is printed by them and everything. So this is all centralization. We live in a world of centralization. But now we want decentralization. So what is decentralization? We are removing those central entities or those central persons, right? So now the power will be in the hands of the community, right? So this is how the decentralization is going to take place. And also giving you more example of decentralization. So there was an example. Let me give you a very quick example. So there is a thing called constitutional DAO. It is a DAO. I explained DAO usually, right? So what happened? The story was that there are only 11 copies of the original bill of the Constitution of US, right? And 10 were with the government, but one was with the lady, or the couple, right? So the one person, like the man, died, and then the lady thought that I need to sell that copy, right? So people were, billing, they were trying to, take that, right? So what a community did was there, on a Discord server, they started to discuss that we need to buy this and everything. So in a, if they are not doing it on the Web3 world or using smart contracts, everything, there should be a central identity where people will have to put on their money and everything. They will have to trust one person. But now we have DAOs, right? So in DAOs, what we can do it, we now have to trust the smart contracts, or now we are trusting the code, right? So what they did was they together created a DAO, or they created a smart contract, you can say. So where all the money will be going to the DAO, right? So there is no central authority, nobody is owning that DAO, right? So the power is in the hands of community. Although they were not able to win that. Why? Because there was some other person who bid more than that. But yeah, they were able to raise a lot of money in just a few span of time, right? So this is the decentralization, and also you're not trusting anyone, but you are trusting the community, right? You are also having the power. If you are a token holder of that particular organization of the DAO, then you also have the power. You have the right to say, right? So this is all about decentralization. And coming on to the community part, right? So as I said that in Web3, community will be based on DAO only, right? So this are my thoughts, but yeah, exactly, everything can happen. But yeah, all these things will be based on DAO. So if you are creating a community, then we need to give power to all the community members, not you. Like, you are the leader, so you will not be taking all the decisions. The community will create something.
Yeah.
They will discuss on that. And if all of the, like, more than 50% agree, then they can take a decision how the community will be working, what are the next steps that we need to take, right? So Web3 is all about giving power to the community, right? Not taking from them, right? Snatching powers from those central entities and giving it to the community. So I guess this is how the Web3 world will shape, and decentralization is taking place, and people like decentralization. No one likes to be controlled by anyone, right? So
yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, also I've shared a link for the audience members by a thread that was given by Yash Bora. So he's basically head of research at Chapter 1. Yesterday I recorded a podcast with him. It will be dropping soon. But then he's a great guy. He knows a lot about stuff that is going on in the Web3 space, given he comes from a venture capitalist background too. And I've also dropped Uttam's Twitter handle. So if you want, you can check out the content that he's making. He makes a lot of short videos that explains a lot of Web3 things that are going on, especially in the Polygon space and the DeFi space. Yeah. So yeah, make sure to check it out too.
So yeah, like I was talking about Polygon ecosystem, like you have been there for a while. So how does Polygon specifically aim to build strong Web3 communities as a whole, and how is your experience so far in building such communities?
So first of all, I should explain what Polygon is doing, right? Polygon is an Ethereum scaling solution. Like there is a term called blockchain trilemma, which says that blockchain can be it can be only two things out of these three, that is decentralization, security, and scalability. So what is Ethereum? Ethereum has losing the scalability thing, right? So scalability in the sense that if you're doing any transaction on Ethereum, the gas fees is very high. So in the INR, you need to pay 7,000 rupees to do a simple transaction, right? So this is very expensive. So now what Polygon is doing, Polygon is taking the same, like, security and decentralization of Ethereum and also scaling it, right? So it is a layer 2 solution, right? Layer 2 in the sense, like I explained it in my short video as well, like it's just like Paytm or PayPal we use. Like in the Paytm PayPal, we take our money from our bank accounts, we move it to our Paytm PayPal, and then after that we do the transaction, we scan and we do it very quickly, right? And when we are done, we move our money from these platforms like Paytm to our bank account. So similarly, right now, Ethereum is that one bank that is safe and that is more secure and decentralized. And then Polygon is the platform that is more scalable. You can do very fast on all these things very fast, right? So this is how Polygon is scaling the Ethereum network, right? So Polygon is, as of now, like my experience towards Polygon is that first of all, it's an Indian organization, so I'm proud to be there. Other than that, working there is, like, as I said, working there is not just about high pay. there are very impressive people, and there are very mind-blowing people over there to whom I get to learn a lot, right? And this Web3 industry is still new, right? So we are building, it's like building a city. So in a city, you are just, right now there are just hospitals. So you can build a garden, you can build all other things, malls and everything, right? So the city has just started, and it's a great thing to be among all those people who are, building the Web3 world and starting. It's just like building the internet again from scratch, like 1990s when the internet came, right? So it was like, what is this new thing? I want to build on it. I want to use it. So similarly, this is the high time now, right? So if we want, and also an opportunity to everyone, if you want to become the next Mark Zuckerberg, you can be. So in future, everything is going to be DApp, right? So as of now, like when the web dev came into existence, there were two things. If I'm going in technical terms, like there was the HTTP protocol, right? So what happened is that before it was not HTTPS, like S was the word used for security, right? So the websites were HTTP, like, they were not secure. But when HTTPS came into existence, everyone is now moving on to HTTPS. If a user also now goes to the website and the S is not written there, you're not going to, use that website. You will say, no, it is not secure. I'm not going to use it. So similarly, in the future as well, if the app is not decentralized, people will, not try to use it. But still, it is very far. It will take around, according to me, it will take around 3 to 4 years to come into mainstream, right? And also somehow, I also think that right now Web3 is not going to be mainstream very soon. It will take a time, right? So this is all about Polygon, and Polygon is building a community. It is helping people to learn Solidity, build on the Web3 world. We have all the grant things as well. We have programs like Polygon Guilds, Polygon, ambassador program as well, right? So you can be a part of this as well, Polygon Advocate program, and we are providing grants as well. So if you have something in mind, you have a good app, you want to build something, so we are here to support you. And we also organize a lot of hackathons, because hackathon is a way where you can build things. So it's a student community as well. When we are participating in hackathons, we can learn everything in 2 days. But if we are not participating, we are just, engineers are lazy. If you're thinking that engineers are very not lazy, then you are mistaken, bro. Engineers are very lazy, and they can build anything in a hackathon, right? So that's why Polygon is organizing a lot of hackathons, so where you can build those steps and you can learn and you can take those ideas and convert it into a bigger plan and everything. So Polygon is there to support. And
cool. That answers a lot of questions that we asked, and a great insight on Polygon in general for the audience members who are very new to this ecosystem. So so I've personally seen that your profile, that you are very engaging with the community that you already have on Twitter, maybe more like especially on Twitter. So can you just share some insights, like how do you engage with the Web3 community especially, and what would you suggest for the folks who are starting to build their own Web3 communities?
Okay, so on the community side, so first of the thing is that on the Web3 world, everything will be open source, right? Everything is going to be open source. So open source communities, as we all know, are very welcoming. Similarly, coming on to the Web3, like, since it is open source, all these Web3 communities are very, helping, and they want people to get into it. And as of now, no one is expert in Web3. We are still new. There are only people who have 2 to 3 years of experience, or mostly, right? There is no 10 to 15 or 20 plus years people who have experience in Web3. No, right? So everyone is trying to learn. That's why people want to, build communities and want to learn together. So if you are someone who want to, create your own community, so first of all, try to get into these communities, learn how they work, like what are those things, what are the requirements, right? So as of now, what is the main requirement? They are not, proper resources for learning Web3, right? So you can, build a community where you can create a proper resource where you can learn this language, how you can learn blockchain, then offer learning language where you should go, how you should build a community. So try to, solve the problems of people through communities, right? So together you can also grow and you can also learn, right? So if you are someone who wants to, get started with Web3 as well, so you can join that particular community, you can get started with that. And also, I will suggest you to learn more about DAOs, right? So communities are going to be turned into DAOs. right? Not
Both.
every community,
Yeah.
but people will be choosing DAOs. Yeah. So most of the communities will be DAO. So learn more about DAO. I'm not saying you to be an expert, right? But start to learn more about it. What is DAO? How it works? How you can create a DAO, right? So there are a lot of resources, as I said, that right now people are creating. So there are a lot of resources. Other than that, the Web3 community is more active on Twitter rather than any platform like Reddit or LinkedIn. So I will suggest you to come on the Twitter platform if you are into new things. But get started with Twitter, connect with people, connect with like-minded people. If you want someone to interact with, as I said, people are very welcoming. You can reach out to them and you can ask them that, hey, I want to build a new community. Will you be able to help me? Will you be able to join? Then definitely, they will help you. They will, also help you to grow that community, and they can, tell people out there that there is a new community which you can create, right? Which you can join. Right. So this is all about, my insights that I found it. But yeah, there are a lot of other things you need to explore. This world is very new.
Yeah, I think Utkarsh, do you want to ask any questions or anything you want to share?
I mean, we are still at very early stages, but then yeah, I did share a link to our light paper as to. It is not a white paper; it is a light paper. That is why we termed it. So it is not our official approach to whatever we are doing. And but then yeah, to sum it all up, we are taking the roadmap of first coming up with NFTs, and through that, open source projects that are under us, they'll be getting tokens, Aviyel tokens. And then Web3 is all about decentralization and also co-ownership. So those projects are also co-owners into this, into making decisions that whatever they want to make. So once we have our NFTs generated, the projects will be getting tokens for those NFTs. And now those open source projects are free to do whatever they want to do with those tokens, like availing services from Aviyel or rewarding the contributions to their open source projects, which is also one of the things that is often not looked out after. So yeah, that is the sum up of what we are trying to do in the very long run. But then yeah, do give our light paper a read to understand better as to what we are doing, because explaining everything in just a single line won't be possible, because whatever we're trying to do, it is done on a very large scale. And yeah, it is something that was not done before. So yeah, do check out a light paper. But then yeah, great session, Uttam. Thanks for taking out the time. Joshua, over to you.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing about Polygon, especially and Uttam is very active in the Twitter community, so you can follow him and you can learn Web3, or if you want to start one. And like it pretty much the same principle of a community, but on a different ecosystem, right? On a decentralized ecosystem. So we covered a lot of things today in this podcast. So we'll be posting it on different platforms. So make sure you follow Aviyel on different platforms like YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and mostly it will be on audio podcast as well. So we'll give you all the access. And also, as Utkarsh mentioned, Aviyel, we are still in the early stages. So any insight or any feedbacks from you would be really appreciated. So on any platform, just comment or share your insights, or you can email your feedback to hello@aviyel.com. So we'll take up from there. So also you can join our Discord server. So that's where I think we have crossed 1,000 community members on Discord. So you can join there, and there are Web3 channels as well. So you can stay active and you can ask anything, and we would definitely love to help you and learn from you. So thanks for sharing your insights again, Uttam. So for this fruitful session, I think it was really productive and really insightful in just 45 minutes, under 45 minutes of time. And would you like to share any final note for the community, like an overall sum up of what
Awesome.
we
So
just
yeah,
discussed.
first of all, thanks for inviting me. And yeah, first of all, do follow Aviyel on everywhere. Like these guys are doing an awesome work. I have been seeing them on Twitter and all these platforms. They're doing awesome work and they're bringing awesome things. So do follow them, right? So coming on to the conclusion, as I will say that lot of people ask me that question that whether Web3 is for me, whether should I get into it. So it is the high time, as I said in the interview as well. It is the high time, and you can be the next Mark Zuckerberg. And it is also not risky. It is not risky as well because this is the future, and evolution is something that is going to happen, right? Web2 came from Web1 after Web1. It's Web3 is going to come, and also who knows that there will be Web4, right? And I'm 100% sure that there will be some more things, right? Web4 and Web5 and all these things, right? But yeah, it is a high time. And why it is, people are saying that it is risky because you are taking that authorities from these companies or from these organizations. They don't want the power to go. Everyone wants power, right? So you're taking that power as well, and it is a high time. So right now you create a app on Android app, right? So you create Android app, you are going to put it on Play Store. Nobody's going to download it. Why? Because everyone is building it. You do not have any other thing like unique thing. If you have unique thing, obviously people will take it. But yeah, if you deploy your normal app on Play Store, people are not going to download it and use it because a lot of people are doing the same. But if you create a dApp, then there are high chances that you can take your project to a newer level, since it is the new world and everyone is learning. So it is high time, get into it and get started with it. So
yeah, thanks again for the session, Uttam. It was great to have you here, and I hope I hope the audiences have the links to them and they can follow Uttam. I have shared the link. And yeah, do actually join our Discord server. It has almost more than 1,000 people who are very genuine. Trust me, there are no bots except for us. So yeah, genuine people there, lots of maintainers, open source fellows, developer advocates, developer relation folks. Yeah. So thanks again for joining in, Uttam, and thanks again for joining, guys. Given it is a Saturday afternoon in IST, and it might be 5 hours early in CET, I guess. I'm not so sure, but then yeah, thanks again for joining in, and we'll see you in the next one.